Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a Jamaican living in the Netherlands for the past 14 years. Please feel free to subscribe, share, and check out my links. My life in the Netherlands. What am I going to talk about today? Today I'm going to talk about a few things that you should know before you move to the Netherlands. I'm giving my opinion, what I think you should know. Okay, first thing, if you're living in the Netherlands and there is a conversation about football, the Dutch people are very much in love with football. They are very crazy about it. And so every time there is a football match, they're out in their orange because that's the national color and they're celebrating it to the fullest. Now, what you need to know is this. If there is a conversation about football and you know something about the German football team, I consider it to be imperative that you keep your mouth shut. Reason being, when it comes to Germany, it's a situation of adding insult to injury. What actually happened? Well, between 1940 and 1945, the Netherlands had um, a full-out war with the Germans because they tried to take over the country. They wanted to use the Dutch air base to assist them in them taking over Europe. And in that whole war, over 205,000 people died. Now, some were killed in concentration camps, and others were killed on the battlefield, and others were killed because of the whole situation. So that's a lot of people. So the Dutch people really have an issue with that thing, and that's a old wound that hasn't been healed, and I don't think it will ever get healed. Now, to add the insult to the injury that happened, which was the whole World War II situation, is the fact that in 1974, the Netherlands was playing against the German in the FIFA Cup. And I don't know what went wrong. I am not an extreme football fan, but all this information I know because I've been living here and I did the history of the country. And so what happened is that the German won, but the Dutch people are convinced that the game was stolen from them. So on top of um, killing thousands of their people and just going bananas on the rest of Europe, they then went and stole the football game. So the Dutch people are not happy about it. So no matter what happened, be careful how you bring in the Germans in any Dutch conversation because you may find yourself on the wrong side of history. That's one. Okay, two, the Dutch people, they're very much on time, seriously on time. Everything goes by appointment and time. So if you're living in the Netherlands, it is a necessity that you learn to be on time. If you don't learn to be on time, you are going to be known as the one not to be taken seriously. And as a Black person, unfortunately, we are stigmatized to the group of people that mostly don't come on time. That is what I have learned since I've been living here. And so I always try to get rid of that situation. So practice being on time because the Dutch, they are on time people. And if you make appointment with them, please try and carry that out also because they will get upset that they rescheduled their whole day, they made a preparation and you did not show up. Okay, another thing. The Netherlands have 12 provinces and you have North Holland and South Holland. The Dutch people do not like when other people call the Netherlands Holland because it's not Holland, it's two provinces, North and South. So there are people that have definite problem with that. So you have to think about that and be aware. Okay. Another thing that the Dutch people cannot stand. If you're in the Netherlands, you will realize there are tracks. You have bicycle tracks, you have the road, and you also have the sidewalks, the pavement. Now, the Dutch people, they do not like when you walk off the sidewalk and onto the bicycle track, and they will literally curse you out in Dutch. They will call you every name in the book that they can think of. Also, if you ride your bike off the bicycle track or your scooter off the bicycle track and go up on the walking track, they will curse you out. So it's best for you to stay in your lane. If you're on the road, stay on the road. If you're on the bicycle track, you stay on the bicycle track. That is also for scooters that goes a certain amount of kilometer per hour, and electrical bikes, those are e-bikes. It is also important for you to stay on the side of the road that is made for you to walk on, so you don't get into any problem. Another thing that I wasn't sure that I wanted to discuss, but after what happened to us today, my girlfriend and I have finally decided to discuss it because I've been going back and forth with it all week. It is the Moroccans. Not all Moroccans are problematic. You have a lot of young male Moroccans that are quite a challenge to deal with, and that you will see not only in the supermarket and on the street, but when you're on the road riding a bicycle or driving a car. Just tonight, one young Moroccan guy threw something out of his car onto our car that we were in, because he tried to cut us off. He created a whole problem. Then he rolled down his window and he got very feisty. And my friend spoke to him politely. He didn't like it and he just went off. So you have to be careful about some Moroccans, not all Moroccans, mostly young Moroccans that have the need to attack people. Now, I don't know exactly what is the issue actually with the Moroccans, because they seems to be upset that because some Muslim, if you have Muslim names, some people are having problem with finding a job. And some Dutch people seems to believe that specifically the young Moroccans behaving the way they are behaving because the males are taught in their religion that they're superior to women. I don't know. But I think the problem goes far and deeper. Like, for instance, it seems like the Dutch was involved in enslaving the Moroccans many, many years ago. And also the Moroccans did capture a few Dutch people and enslave them also. So it seems to be something going back and forth, and this thing has no ending. The Dutch government did invite the Moroccans after World War II to come here and work. So it's like a whole history plus inviting what you would call then the enemy, because you enslave people and then you invite them in. It's just like you're asking for trouble. So it's very complex, but you have to be careful because they can get quite aggressive at times. Okay, another thing you need to know about living here. When you go to a Dutch person house and it is, say, 5:30 going into 6 o'clock, it's best for you to leave. And if you don't leave, you will be asked to leave, because Dutch people don't normally prepare extra food to accommodate any guests. That is actually the biggest conversation among all foreigners here. I mean, we still don't understand it. I have decided not to try and understand it anymore. It is too complex. So don't expect to stay for dinner. You won't get it. Like 99.999% of the people, they would just ask you to leave. If you go to a Dutch person house and they're giving out coffee, then you only get one cookie with the coffee. If you're expecting the second one because you're hungry, you're going to die of hunger. So make sure your tummy is full when you show up at a Dutch person house, because anything is possible. I can tell you about you guys, fellow YouTubers, about a short story that I have. That I was in the Netherlands for a few months when one of my neighbors came and invited me out for a drink, and we went into the city and I already had something to eat. So she ordered a plate of finger food and she wanted to know what I wanted to drink. So I was like, a cola. And so I got a cola. And when we got home, she asked me for the €2 for the cola. I later learned that that is not typical Dutch behavior. They normally invite you out, we go eat together, I pay for my food, you pay for your food. And if they specifically invite you out to go and eat with you, then they pay for it. But so far, I haven't heard about those type of things. I think it's a myth. I just think once you go out with them, you have to pay. So I don't do that. Another thing you need to know about the Netherlands, if you come in here and you're a dog lover, in some provinces you have to pay tax for your dog. No, don't ask me why. I don't know. There are also people that insure their dogs or their cats for like, if they get sick or anything like that. So they don't have to pay the bill all in one. They just do it like that. I am going to go ahead and assume that the tax has to do with the fact that the dogs are pooping all over the place and it has to be cleaned up. Not everyone clean up after their dogs, and it, depending on the neighborhood you live in, believe me, it can get very awful. So if you go more for a neighborhood that have what they call twee verdieners, which is a mother and a father that works, and a better class neighborhood, say middle class upward, you will find less dog poop because those people have the knowledge, the intelligence to just clean up after themselves. You go in a lower class neighborhood, you won't believe what you walked into. It will be poop all over the place. So I believe I've said the things that you should know when you come to the Netherlands. Please bear them in mind and take them quite seriously because they are quite accurate. And this has been my experience and also several other people experience. It is what it is. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.